dark, basically, of, you know, the other two. And, well, it's not that he doesn't have internal conflicts, because he does have internal conflicts going on there a bit, but they're sort of buried a lot more under layers and layers of, you know, optimism and faith and we'll call it whatever you will, but basically his personal conflicts are just definitely a lot deeper hidden than and not nearly as prominent as the other two characters, who you can definitely see immediately, like, wow, they've got issues. But anyway, in contrast to Cole's very cynical view of the world, like, God, the world's fucked up, Lucas's view is sort of, you know, the world is not really that fucked up. It's like, yeah, the world has problems, but it's what we make of it, and, you know, the way we choose to see the world is the most important thing. He's very idealistic. He sees the world through rose-colored glasses, basically, in that he thinks, you know, all people are naturally good and we can all do the right thing if we want to. And it's, like I said, it's just a matter of the way you see the world and the choices you make. That's sort of his perspective on things. And that contrasts a lot with Cole's. And in a way, they're sort of opposites in that that viewpoint and that aspect of themselves. Whereas Sierra is sort of kind of in the middle. And I'll talk about that later. But it makes their friendship interesting because they, on the one hand, you can see that they really strongly disagree on, like, this, but also they kind of, like, mutually respect each other for it. Basically, you know, like, wow, you have the complete opposite view that I do, but that, you know, gives me a side that I wouldn't see myself. And they're, you can tell they're really close, and they have this relationship where they, even though they disagree, they can just, you know, work out their disagreements and accept their differences. And as far as Lucas's, like, internal conflicts, like, that's definitely, you get a little bit of vibe of it in the first couple of volumes, and you get the sense that he sort of has some identity problems, like, he, you know, he thinks he has a very good idea of who he is, but he might not really have a good idea of who he is as a person, and that there's some things about himself that he's not sure about. And as far as, like, his past, he doesn't really, definitely has, like, the easiest past of anyone. Probably, like, the least interesting. But also, he does have one really noticeable thing that I give a little bit of an idea of in Volume 2. But that's pretty much it. Now, oh yeah, I did want to say one more thing about him. Just the fact that even though he's a relatively not too complicated character, I mean, he's still in depth as far as, like, development, but one of the main things about him that's important in the story is just, you know, that he has this really kind of complicated relationship with both Sierra and Cole, and that, like, he's sort of in the middle, like I already said, but also that, not just that, but also that he doesn't really, he knows that he has these conflicting, strong feelings for both of them. I'm not talking about in a romantic sense, just, you know, he doesn't really know what his feelings for them both are, but he knows that they're there. And that's sort of one of the things that he's trying to figure out as the story progresses. So that's Lucas. And I want to see how much time I am running on right now, because I don't have a clock. I don't know how long it's gone, so I'm gonna hope. I know I'm gonna have enough space on there, I just don't know if it's gonna be long enough for YouTube, so I might have to split it again, but hopefully not. Anyway, Sierra. I put her last, like I said, because she's sort of the hardest to describe, in that she is really complicated. She has a really elaborate past that has had a lot to do with who she is as a person, now. We get little ideas of, okay, she had a shitty past. We can see that in things that the characters do. Like, Cole and Lucas both, you know, give us the idea that, okay, she's gone through some stuff. But they also give us the idea that they don't even fully know what the depth or magnitude of that is, and that it seems like she's keeping even things from them, which is, I mean, she's really close with both of them, yet something is there that she's not even telling them. Maybe she can't even admit to herself. And I'm kind of going spoilery here. I should probably stop. But, so that's something to think about. But, anyway, just like her basic personality. Let's see. Okay, she has a really strong sense of wanting to be independent. Now, this isn't necessarily that she's accomplishing it, and actually she says a lot in the first volume, like, that she feels like she relies too much on others, even though she really wants to do everything by herself, take care of herself, you know, and be this really strong, like, pillar of strength type of person, but it doesn't really work, because of various things, her flaws, and things like that. What else can I say without giving too much away? That's sort of the hard part with her character. Anyway, yeah, she has a really strong sense of trying to be on her own. She mentions in the story that she's pretty much gone through most of her life alone and, you know, by herself, by choice and also necessarily not by choice. It seems like it's both for different reasons. But a lot of it is because of her choice, and we sort of learn as we're going through the story why she's kind of latched onto Cole and Lucas for different reasons, but also we kind of get the vibe that she doesn't really have any other friends outside of them. So, like, the main important thing in her life outside of them, obviously, is her job, and she's very, not so much attached to the job itself, but she's very attached to the sense of that she really wants to basically help people and, like I said, be this, you know, person that people can rely on. Anyway, as far as, like, her view of the world, because I know that I mentioned that it wasn't necessarily as defined as Lucas's and Cole's is. You can see that she's cynical about, she's kind of cynical about herself. She's pretty hard on herself. But on the other hand, she has this sense of, that people are good too. So she's kind of in the middle of both of them. And I'm doing a really bad job of going into this. So I'm probably going to stop talking about her for now, because I'm just really having a hard time going into this without giving things away, and that's why I knew it would be a challenge to talk about her, because if any of the three characters have anything the most to do with the plot itself, it's her, and that's sort of why it's hard to go into, because the plot itself is the secret mystery, and if I go too much into about her, I give the plot away. So I don't want to do that, and I want you to actually read the book. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Although there is something that I will mention, and that's that one of the first and foremost things we notice about her her diary entries is that there are moments where it says scribbled out, and I'm just gonna say that that's really something you should be thinking about as far as the plot. Who did this? Did she scribble it out? Did someone else scribble it out? Did, you know, just what is going on with this? So definitely think about that as you're reading.